What's going on, gamers? Hopefully everyone's weekend went well. I just came back from Salt Grass Steakhouse. Pretty good stuff. Still got some stuff left over for the rest of the night and tomorrow. We ate pretty big. We got another Sony villain video to cover here. As you guys know, you see how AGN keeps it real and keeps the balance going here. They thought I was going to just do only positive PlayStation content. Well, no. If you care about gaming and you want a company to improve, you can't just be positively blind. There's a thing in life called balance. And then I was just doing a bunch of Xbox content, but it was like, no, they needed to be criticized. Now Sony needs to be criticized, so we're doing this. So it's not like AGN is just now only doing negative Sony videos. It's like, no, this is the time to actually do this. And you guys know when I do something, if people have been watching me for a while, I try to cover as many topics as possible. I want to be professional about it. I want to give as many angles as possible as I possibly can when it comes to these type of topics. This one is definitely something to talk about because it's following recent behavior, and Sony's just making it quite clear. Sony has deleted 551 paid movies, remember there's some other stuff, from PlayStation users' libraries without any refunds, not even letting them know. People are just starting to find this out, right? Become a member, leave a tip down below, like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get into this. Guys, this is what people were talking about. I don't know if you guys remember my recent video I just did with China basically saying you got preservation. Digital ownership is important and it's going to be treated like real assets in real life. This is a perfect example of you don't have digital ownership. You have a renting license fee, and I will decide how long you get to keep it. And if I want to get rid of it, I can. But guess what? I kept the money. 551 movies just got removed from PlayStation users' libraries, right? Refunds. Now, if you're doing like a subscription service, it's obvious subscription services have cycles. But I want to ask you this question. If I'm paying for a license and eventually you remove it, how much different is that just because you made it last longer? I feel like I'm kind of paying you for a certain time limit, and then you decide what you want to cycle out and keep. That to me is still kind of like a renting service if you're going to play that type of game with me. And then you're saying that you're not going to even notify me with any type of refund. You could just throw it all away. That's why you got to be careful and read those agreements that you press I agree with, because they're letting you know that they can do that. They're telling you that, and people agree with it silently without knowing, because nobody wants to read agreements, right? Like anytime you get on a game, you just hit the agreement and you get off. Nobody wants to read all that, but it's in there. So Sony removed 551 movies that users had purchased from the PlayStation Store libraries without providing refunds. The action has sparked discussion amid the industry's shift away from physical media, physical ownership, trading, and a huge history that they have. This has to be talked about. That's why HN is making this video. Man, it's crazy. So the article that is kind of like putting this here in the site is Game Rant. You guys know about Game Rant. They've been around since 2009. I like Game Rant. They're saying physical media, and you guys have to let me know what you think about this. Physical media is quietly disappearing from gaming. Man, it's strong in the Nintendo world though, but they don't do all that other stuff. It's mostly about gaming. I've been playing some Switch Online. I've been enjoying my Switch to the side. We got Splatoon Raiders coming out this month. I'm super excited for that. Star Fox came out. As you guys seen on my Twitter, I beat Donkey Kong 64. I definitely enjoyed that. Things are going very well in their world. I definitely am looking forward to more things coming out as well. But yeah, physical media is still strong over there. Ownership is small. It's strong over there. I mean, on the go, docked. GTA 6's physical edition is a download code in the box. And I don't know if you guys knew about this, but a lot of people are saying F you to that. They're not supporting that. The pre-orders are low on that, and they're massively in the digital world. But of course, that's the monopoly to you. And most people are going to be like, why would I want to do that, right? So not only is physical media quietly disappearing, but when Rockstar came out and said that there was not going to be a disc, that set a huge tone in the industry, because this is a company that has the biggest game launch and probably pre-order in gaming history. Outside of that, Nintendo has them usually, or like games like COD when they did have it, right? So if Rockstar is setting that leadership example, they set the tone down as, I could have made sure physical preservation was important. And my biggest partner, historically and right now, is Sony. And Sony says, I could have. But they announced after that. And then you get that idea that when them two come as a combination of doing that, on top of what Microsoft's been doing for the longest, then you kind of get the idea that they're telling you in Western society, It's time for digital only. But did they do this because they just wanted to, or did most of us actually support that medium without realizing that digital ownership wasn't going to be something that was going to be a part of that? I don't think a lot of people were realizing that. So GTA 6's physical edition is not only a download code in a box, right? And Sony just deleted 555 movies people already paid for with no refunds. Where we get this, right? We are renting more than we are owning these days. When did you last buy a game on a disc? It's been a while for me. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Now, Nintendo Switch, yeah, I buy sometimes Nintendo Switch games. But I kind of look at that as a little bit different than the way that I'm looking at it in the PlayStation world. Though I know some people could probably say for me it's the same. I'm like, okay, I understand. But this right here is what is bothering people. Even if it isn't a game that's popular, it doesn't matter. To some people, it could subjectively mean something different. Why can you just delist without any refunds? And then next thing you know, here comes a remaster version. Now pay me full price. Yeah, it's a problem. Going down, Sixer Jones says 100% physical media for life. No one realizes 93% of all PlayStation discs have the entire game on them. That's what I'm fighting for. And then he posts this picture down here. That's the thing. You can't delete the disc. They have to come in your house and take it, or they have to say, you can't put the physical disc inside here. I'm not supporting it. It's not in this console. That's why people like preservation in the physical world, because you have a PS5. That you take down the store, right? Or just shut down PlayStation 5 where you can't use it anymore offline even, right? PS4, PS3, you know what I mean? Where you could still just put the disc in there. PS2, PS1, Nintendo, NES, Super Nintendo, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, you know what I mean? 64. You still could go back and play all those as much as you want. And those games were not launched unfinished back then. You could just get them complete. I love that, you know? But now it's looking like Sony is kind of giving you an early sneak peek into what they want to do with possibly digital media in the future if they don't deem it relevant. At one point, did you think those movies were ever going to be gone? They're not preserving it. They're getting rid of it. They don't want it. What the hell's going on, though? They're not even letting you know. Did something go on with the license? With something else? What is going on here? They're not speaking to you. But what did they say in that last post last week? We don't have to communicate directly to you. Remember when they said that? And here's an example right here. 551 movies just gone. I didn't give you no refund. I get to keep the money, though. Doesn't matter if it's years later or not. You get screwed over. They get to keep the cash. Savage says, sold you a disk drive separately and then took away your disk. That's called racketeering. You aren't mad enough. That's the thing. Like, you kind of get the idea of, here comes the PS5 Pro. Here comes a detachable disk drive. So, and this only came out, what, like 2 years ago? But already you're being told 2 years later from now that that medium is going to be disappearing in 2028. Yeah, it's kind of something to think about, because you're like, what is really going on here, right? They said they don't have to communicate to you. Well, we know what's going on. 100% digital profit. You don't have to pay Best Buy. You don't have to pay the middleman. You don't have to pay shipping and fee. You don't have to pay Walmart, Target, Amazon. You see what I'm saying? GameStop, you can't trade in and get physical cheaper. It's 100% digital profit without worrying about any of that. Even if, let's just say this, I think even if the RAM cartel was not doing what it was doing, on top of the SSD cartel going on too, they would still be doing this. That's what I think. And I think a lot of people can agree to me or agree with me on this. I think Microsoft for sure is going to be doing the same thing. Because if you're making a positron system and you're saying you want me to take my physical disc and convert it into a digital license, then you're telling me that the next gen console is going to be all digital. But it's not going to be an Xbox console. It's going to be a PC hybrid. You got people asking me, where did Microsoft say this? I'm like, what are you talking about? Why would a PC have a disk drive? What PC you know right now supports physical copies? Xbox Helix is going to be main and foremost a PC with digital backwards compatibility support. That's why you're being told that a positron system is coming so that you can convert it into digital. because it's going to be diskless. Why would the Xbox Helix have a physical disk drive? It's going to cost even more money. And what would it matter anyways? Nobody's buying that crap. It's going to be way too overpriced. It's going to be like $1,500 to $2,000 in that ballpark. Who is going to buy that? What? A gulping Xbox fanboy? Like die hard fanboy. I don't see who else would be supporting it. Excuse me. But yeah, I understand what he's saying by this post. Mikey says, so don't let them, and join the fight for physical and digital ownership and consumer rights. Hold the line. You too can do your part. Look, bro, with Black Ops and GTA 6, they're already kind of letting you know they don't care, right? You're going to have a huge crowd that's going to screw up your boycotting. Now, I'm not saying to stop it, because AGN is still making videos. I'm trying to help you guys out as much as possible. I've made plenty of PlayStation content that's been positive. I've said my piece about what I needed to say about PlayStation. I still think, like, no matter in all of this what's going to happen, PlayStation 6 is still going to destroy Xbox Helix. It's going to be irrelevant. I don't even think it's going to be competition. I think the Xbox Helix is going to be like the Steam machine. It's going to be like in that type of like world. It's going to be optional. You don't need it. If you got a PC, what do you need a Helix for? Want to play some old Xbox games? Ain't nobody going to care. I'm just saying, what type of install base are you going to have when you're so expensive? And if you have exclusives and you're selling a device that's like $1,500, what is even the point when your brand is so damaged and nobody's going to care? Sony's still going to sell the PlayStation 6 under $1,000. I promise you this. They're going to try to at least get it no more than $800. I don't think they want to go past $800, just to be honest with you. So right here, we're continuing the cancel PlayStation Plus. No GTX 6 pre-order on PlayStation. Good luck with that, because what other option do you have? A dead Xbox world? I'm telling you, it, bro. See, that's the thing, and they all know this. Like, there's a monopoly here for sure. And you tell people to cancel PlayStation Plus, and let's say if 500,000 people did cancel the PlayStation Plus, do you know how many people just bought PlayStation Plus to play Black Ops 1 and 2? It's sad, man. And it's kind of like, what was the point, right? You're still kind of fighting, though, and I kind of respect everybody for that. We all are in a certain sense. I'm trying to fight for your physical ownership, because I feel like that medium historically has an important presence in gaming history. All the midnight releases, all the CD trends for PS1, when they went to Nintendo and they were going to wanted to make a console with them, Sony brought CDs on the market. Look how big that phenomenon was. I said this before. PS2, DVD, $199. You know how much PS2 sold because of the DVD player in there? Sony does not realize how much success they have because of disc. PlayStation 3 Blu-ray, where you can have one disc instead of multiple discs on 360. And they end up getting that price right, and they still outsold the 360. Though 360 did really good. PS4, do we need to talk about it? Xbox One DRM lockdown, Don Matrick. Then Sony's let you know how easy it was to just lend a copy to somebody. You see what I mean? Like, those phenomenons have a huge part of PlayStation history and gaming history. CDs do. It was a thing. And they're just willing to all throw it away for just extra profit. It's like, what's wrong with leaving that world up and supporting it? You're going to be fine anyways if most people are digital anyways. Why not do it? But no, they're letting you know what's going on here. No disc, no buy. Here we go again. Last Friday, he's talking about, like, I'm doing this. You know what I mean? Last week, swapping back to Nintendo, so picked up a few games. Never stopped. Here we go again. Like, this phenomenon is one of the biggest phenomenons I've seen. People are now backing down for this. So, guys, let me know what you think about Sony deleting 551 movies with no refunds. After knowing what's really going on, Sony gives no Fs. I'm telling you, like, they're just going on a full, arrogant villain spree. We've seen them do this before. They did it in the PS4 era. They refuse to do cross-play and let other communities fade off, but it's all fine in the PlayStation world. And that's just one thing. They have a tendency to do this. This is not anything new. Microsoft's arrogance is, has no limits either in different ways. None of these companies are good, to be honest with you. That's why I've always liked Nintendo the most. Yeah, sure. I mean, they have their arrogance too in their ways, but they still are first and foremost a gaming company, and they're not going to kill the physical medium. Nintendo's going to still be Nintendo. It's still going to be gaming. They don't change. You know who they are. Now, Sony, they're like a hybrid chameleon. Whatever benefits them the most. Microsoft, oh man, when we want to talk about gaming, they just don't have a clue. That's all I got to say about Microsoft. And I think you guys know what I'm talking about. It's like, this company, bro. What are we doing here? Just like with the exclusive game, it's like, I have a feeling this company is going to try to make Elder Scrolls 6 exclusive. It's like, nobody wants to buy your console. What do you not understand about that? If you want the success of Elder Scrolls 6 to sell like 30, 40 million copies, you need to include PlayStation, or you're passing up a 40% plus sales ratio that you're not going to get. I'm sorry, you're not going to make up for it. The Xbox world is not going to be blowing up with that game by itself. That world is gone. It doesn't work, and they need to wake up. So let me know what you guys think. Like I said, become a member, leave a tip down below, like, comment, subscribe. Here we go again, Sony. Not surprised though. I think they're not even close to being done. Yeah, it's going to get more ugly, y'all. Get ready. And don't think Microsoft's done either. They never let Sony go for too long. You know what I'm talking about. Later.